Welcome to this particular program, which we have come to term Entrepreneurship Nuggets. On various days, we're going to run series where we're talking about the importance of running businesses, but critically, we'll be picking on certain subjects where we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. Today, we just want to talk about the importance of seed capital. A lot of people have often said they can't start and run businesses because of lack of seed capital. Now, I've thought we need to make a very clear distinction between seed capital and working capital. What people require to start and run businesses is seed capital. And more often, a lot of people make a mistake of thinking that because they do not have working capital, which is required to grow a business, they simply do not go out there and start and run businesses. So we need to be very clear in terms of this particular entrepreneurship nugget. People do not start and run businesses because they've got money. Rather, people get involved in running businesses because they are actually looking for money. I've often talked to a number of people who have argued and said, all I've got is $1,000. Some have even said, all I've got is just $200. And they've often made people believe sometimes one requires $10,000, sometimes one requires $1 million for them to start and run a business. But one thing that has got to be very clear, as I've said before, is people do not start and run businesses because they've got money. People start and run businesses because they are looking for money. You will find more often that for somebody who's got $100, their lifestyle, their financial obligations are usually limited to $100. For those that have got $1,000, their lifestyle, their financial obligations, their day-to-day expenses are also limited to $1,000. Even for those that have got $1 million, if you talk to them, their financial obligations, the things that they are expected to spend their money on, usually surpasses the $1 million. So the point I'm trying to make is people should never give the lack of capital, the lack of seed capital, as the reason to why they cannot go out there and run businesses. Because the reality of it is this. People would require the minimum possible amount of money for them to start their businesses. All that is required, contrary to a lot of people's misconception, is for somebody to start, build a track record, and then usually, in most cases, the businesses would have been able to take off from the ground to the extent that if ever one is to go out there looking for working capital, the track record, the financial records that they would have kept as a business are enough to convince a business partner to come in and partner them. So people should never, ever make a mistake of giving the issue of lack of seed capital as the reason as to why they cannot start to run their own businesses. Please continue to subscribe on our channel as we continue running a series that would make sure that we have encouraged a lot of people to go out there and start and run businesses. We cannot overemphasize the fact that employment creation is going to require a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business people who are going to be daring, who are going to be bold, who are going never to use the excuse of lack of seed capital to start and run businesses. Let's always make that clear distinction that there is a difference between seed capital and working capital. And normally, what we require to start and run a successful business is seed capital. Once you do it right, once you are able to put together your seed capital, you are bound to be able to run a business which could be self-sustaining in terms of going out there and be able to look for working capital that is required to grow a business. So people need to understand that You do not need to be very rich for you to start and run a business. Because if that was the case, those that have got a lot of money would never have started to run businesses. But in reality, no matter the amount of money that you've got, you still need to be involved in the starting and the running of a business. So no matter how eloquent, no matter how articulate you can be, when it comes to the issue of starting and running a business, the issue to do with seed capital amount does not matter. A lot of people have often said, I require $10,000. Some have even said I require $1 million for me to start and run a business. But why are you despising humble beginnings? Start small, because often when you're starting small, you've got an opportunity to experiment. You've got an opportunity to make mistakes. Why would you want to make mistakes when you've got $1 million? Why can't you make mistakes when you've got $100? Why can't you make mistakes with $1,000? So let's clearly mark and distinct the difference between seed capital and working capital. Please continue watching our Entrepreneurship Nuggets as we continue running this series. We've got no doubt that a lot of people will actually benefit from these Entrepreneurship Nuggets. So you continue to watch our shows. Look out for our next series. On our next series, we're going to talk about taking responsibility as an entrepreneur. Join us then.